Hello, guys. Welcome back to another Cinematic Mike review. Today, I'm going to review James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water. It finally got here, and I am going to tell you that it was worth the wait. 13 years or whatever, how long it has been, it was actually really worth it. I remember when James Cameron announced that he was going to film it with cameras underwater. He was going to try to experiment, innovate, and all that. And that got my attention because I love when people are being innovative and doing different things, challenging what you could do for cinema and all. And I did do a review on Avatar, like I think last year, 2 years ago, where my feelings kind of changed on the first one. I do remember when I went to go see the first one in IMAX. I remember 2009 when I went to go see it, and I was impressed. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. But then, like, as time went on, I put it away for a while. I still had it. I still have it here, and people kept talking smack on it. And I didn't understand why people really hate it. It seemed like something where people liked it and then they turned on it. Me, since I didn't put it on, I couldn't see it. So, which is one of the reasons that I did the review last year, I think, is because I wanted to see, like, all right, let me see what I feel about it. And I kind of understand why people don't like it as much as probably the first time they went to go see it in 2009, with the story being similar to some movies that we've already seen, just like kind of in space and all that. And I did see it again, and I think it's good. I think it's good. It's not like bad. It's more impressive. I think it was a lot of impressive the first time I went to go see it in IMAX, the first one. And after I saw it again, I just it's still there. It's good. It's entertaining. It's just it already feels like it's part of that time already, So you could kind of see, like, at that time it was epic, like really cool. Now we're like freaking 13 years ahead. And I told myself, no matter whether this film's gonna come out like bad, I really want to see it because the whole ocean, the water cameras in there, them diving and getting like their scenes from underwater and everything. I was interested in that, so that's the reason I was like, whether it's like a rehash or anything, I am gonna go see it because I want to see how these like scenes work out. And when I saw the trailer to it, it also kind of got me a little bit bothered because I thought it looked like another rehash of the first one. So I was like, oh man. And a lot of people are still saying that with this one, that it's a kind of a rehash of the other one. But to be honest, me watching it, I felt like minimal of all that. I didn't feel like it was a big time like redoing of the actual first one. This one had like another story to tell. It had a theme and all that, which was separate from the actual first one. It reminded me a lot of films that I like. And here, to be honest, like, I got so excited right when I saw this film in IMAX 3D, which I looked up weeks before, like, which is the way to see this. And a lot of people were saying watching it on the biggest screen possible. That's how I saw the first one, because I think James Cameron did this film. I don't think he shot it with IMAX, but he did it to be like 3D and, yeah, to be like on a big screens. So that's how I saw the 2009 one, because I think the whole 3D was being talked about, but I picked IMAX 3D to go watch it. And that's what I did with this one. I was like, because I feel like James Cameron's Avatar world, since talks about a lot, like how that was meant for like 3D and all that. I was like, I feel like that's required to watch an Avatar movie. So I went to go watch it in IMAX 3D, which was amazing, to be honest. The opening, I'm glad when we open up and we're back in the world of Pandora. It's like when we open up, it's still beautiful. It's nice, like coming back, and it reminded me a lot of like Star Wars when we would come back after like episode two, we'd come in episode three, and we're coming back into this world what we left behind from a few years ago. And it was still there, but I think because I just saw the first one, it wasn't that great. But right when they freaking go to the Metakaina's tribe, I was like, wow, that was freaking cool. When you see the ocean, the creatures, the light of the sea, everything was so beautiful. The way they ride the sea animals and everything into the water, it was just beautiful to look at. I was like in awe with all everything that I was seeing on the screen. I was like, wow, that's impressive. Like with the eclipse, the sun going down, the stars in the sky, the luminescence in the ocean. It was so beautiful to look at. I was like so impressed. I was like, man, this has a lot of beautiful shots. I've been saying this because I already like put up my own like reviews on my social media, and I wrote it, and I said, like, when I go watch an IMAX film or something like that, I'm like, I always say, like, my money, it was worth just because of this one shot or these two shots. That's like my money's worth. Right here, there's like so many shots that I can't keep track of that I'm like, damn. I was like, now I feel like this is why I paid this much, like I paid this much for, because this is like a lot. There's like scene after scene that's impressive to look at. And that's what I loved about it. There's new characters in here. Cliff Curtis is in here. Kate Winslet's in here. Those are some great actors. Kate Winslet, who did Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio and James Cameron, comes back. She's part of the Metacaina, and her husband is Cliff Curtis, another great actor from a lot of films. Um, what do you call it? So I get to see all of these things of the kids, and the one thing that I like about this film is that it's not really from the point of view of the point of view of like Natiri or Jake Sully. It's more like the point of view of these kids right here, of their kids. And so it's amazing to see these kids, like we're following them. We're not following Jake no more. We're not following Natiri yet. We're following the kid, their children now. And that's what I found interesting about the film, is that they did that. The kids, I love the story about family. They have a theme about like family, protecting your family, and I really love this. Even when the kids meet the other kids from the Metacaina place, and they're trying to like get along, or they're like, hey, come over here, let's go. I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you that. Um, it reminds me of like when you go to like family parties and your family, like, oh, your aunt, your uncle, there's their kids go hang out, and then we go out. While we did when we were younger, we would go out and like go on our own little adventure while our families were talking or partying or whatever. We would go out. So it reminds me a lot about that. So I thought they did good with representing family and children, and from, a tribe is another tribe, is a family is another family. So I thought I was able to connect with that kind of feeling of all that. And yeah, it was just like, even Jake wasn't like the type to like go to war anymore. He's like, yeah, I think Natiri wants to go to war, but Jake was like, no, the important part here is like, we're just gonna keep doing all this, but the important part is my family. I gotta get them the hell out of here. We gotta move. And so they move away and they go to meet these new people, and they get to learn their ways of the water and everything, which is such a beautiful spectacle to look at. I mean, I can't get over all the things that I saw on the screen. So much beautiful. It's like a painting, a beautiful painting. And I was just so excited to like see all that stuff. The music score is great. I love the music in here. It's so like impactful, emotional. The score is great. Um, I like the character of, there's a character that's a human character that's one of the Quadric's son, I believe, which I couldn't really figure out how he was his son, but I guess this is his son. So he was kind of interesting because he's like a human that's running around, and he wants to be like a Navi. He even like screams like a Navi, acts like wild like a Navi. And I thought his little thing was interesting. I was like, oh, kind of interested in him. I thought he was kind of lame at first. I was like, oh, this guy's like, what the hell is he doing here? He looks kind of what. But then I got interested in him, like at the beginning. But then throughout like the whole thing, he seems kind of just like he's shut off, like he's just staring and putting on an expression. There was nothing much, but I had a feeling that when I was watching his story, I was like, I don't know why, but this kind of tells me that he's gonna turn bad or join his dad, like a little Star Wars kind of I am your father thing, or like, well, Luke doesn't really turn bad, but it kind of like just reminded me something like that. Or um it reminded me a lot about like X-Men, which I'll explain later. How one of them ends up was with the good people, but then goes with the bad guy, or he like just transforms something, just convinces them like, they don't like me, they don't accept me, I'm gonna turn on them, and he's just there like throughout the whole time, just like kind of little expressions and all that. And I was like, I wish they would have done something more with him, but they didn't. um and then we got like Sigourney Weaver, who's playing like a teen who's actually like a freaking kid from her Avatar that just came. So she's playing a teen that's kind of like stuck connected to Awa somehow. And she's like really could feel everything of the world of Pandora and all that. So she's kind of a little bit struggling like teen. Like, I don't know what you say, but she's dealing with some things. But I thought it was good to give her that kind of little arc to make her feel like a character and make you like connect with them. Loke, I believe, or Loke, I forgot. I think it's Loke. The main kid, he's just like a little troublemaker who kind of is a reflection of his own father when he was like, and when we saw the first one, he was kind of a wild guy, and this guy kind of acts like that, which it could piss you off sometimes because he freaking could get annoying sometimes. But he was a very interesting character, and I kind of feel for him at times too. And then the little adorable little kid, I forgot that, I think Took, the little kid, yeah, it was so adorable that she's just hanging around with him. You just hear her voice all the time, or the voice of the kid all the time. And then there's the big one, the older one, Nateum, who plays like he's right here, and he's cool because he protects his family. He's like the older older brother. He watches over them, and I like that about the film. But then I was like, I don't know, why did all like Kiri, Loke, they have like a story. Nateum's just kind of there to play like the protective brother, but there's nothing much to him, you know. And but then it gets to a part where it's like, oh, okay, and it's so emotional, and like I'm like, oh my god, that was just perfect, you know. I can't believe like they just did all that. Like it was just perfect with his story. It wasn't just. I finally said like, oh, he wasn't just there to just do that, you know. His part mattered. Like by the time you see the whole thing, his arc really matters, and it's emotional. And I really was like on like literally like tearing up already. I was like, I can't believe this is happening, but it kind of shows, you know, family and protecting, and it's what I loved about it. There are many scenes, as I said, like there's even scenes with the humans when they're using these kind of like diving equipment, and like in the 3D IMAX, you can see that you're actually the cameras inside there, and they use like real water coming at them. And I was like, I love that. I love that it feels like we're actually going into the ocean with them inside that little whatever device that's going under there, because they're humans. They have to use that. There is a scene with the creatures which I felt were it was beautiful. The creatures were beautiful here. Just like looking at the connect, there was something so peaceful, something so like I don't know how to explain it. Like what do you say? Uh, I can't find the right word, but something so peaceful about it. Just here, like meditating, like in a way, and with these creatures and the water and everything, just at peace. Them connecting to the plants in the water, the reef, and all that, you know. And they become friends with these creatures, like these well, like I forgot their names. They have a certain name. Um, uh, I really forgot their name. But there's like this big old well, and Loke actually connects with this well and everything, and you get to hear like a little backstory of it. And he's an outcast, and there's some scenes that where when I got to that part, I was like, I got like uncomfortable. Where like I don't think I want to watch this. So I'm like, I think it's kind of like that's it was kind of sad. It was like animal cruelty to me, even though these were like fictional characters. I was like, oh man, I don't want to look at that. That's kind of messed up, you know. But I think James Cameron, who's a fan of the ocean, is kind of trying to like throw a little message out there. Maybe not too big, but it's just a little thing there. It doesn't like seem like too little, and it doesn't seem like too much. But you could kind of tell when it gets to that point what he's trying to say, you know. And it was really hard. But I got uncomfortable watching it. I was like, man, I don't think I want to see that. Um, and yeah, it's all peaceful, and then the war, you know, there is a point where a lot of the bloodshed. I know it's a fictional story, but I don't know if I'm getting older. And sometimes the when I'm seeing just a lot of killing now, I'm like, oh man, this is just like a lot of killing on killing. Like, I wish there's a little bit more to like maybe this is wrong, you know. But in the story, they obviously have to, because the Crodrick's like kind of a prick, you know, and he's like, I want to kill this guy no matter what, you know. Like he's kind of like wants to his that's like his challenge right there is Jake, you know, with everything that happened, plus with Neytiri, what he did to him in the last one. And I think it was good. The other thing that I love Cliff Curtis and Kate Winslet's character, but I wish they would have had something more too, you know, in here. Like I wish they're kind of just there to be like Jake and Neytiri is kind of like, you know, a place where they could find like little asylum where they're hiding and everything, you know. And that's it. And Kate doesn't want them. Cliff is actually really nice. So it's cool to see them, but I wish they had something more to the story. And I know James Cameron, I think it said that he had like a 9 hour cut, so maybe right there it's probably like things were cut that made it make sense. Because I think even when there's a big old battle towards the end, like they were there fighting all together, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, what the hell happened to the Metacaina family? They were just there. I think I looked away, and then I looked back, I'm like, hey, wait, what, weren't they all together during this? And I just missed it. Maybe you guys can remind me what happened, because I was like, what the hell happened to them? They were right there together, fighting together, and then now it's just the Soli family. So I didn't understand that. But yeah, to be honest, I do gotta admit that it does drag like the middle part, but I think that's the what James wants to show you is like the ocean, the beauty, all the time and care that went into these visuals, these shots that he got with the water, the look of it, everything. And it's amazing to look at, but it does get to a point where it's like, okay, it's dragging, but it does not bad, but it looks beautiful. But then it's like, oh damn, we've been here. I was like kind of a little bit spacing out a bit, and I could tell like a lot of people were. But I loved it. I don't care. I'm not gonna say like I don't know. I don't know if they can cut it, because I love every scene in it. So I don't know if I'd say I cut that part. I cut that part. But I do. I understand when people say that it dragged a little bit right there. You know. So all those things were nice about it. The film reminded me a lot about The Godfather, because it talks about family. I don't know why. Right when I was watching it, I love like the whole protecting your family. The kids get in a fight with the other tribe's kids, and it's because someone was hurting the sister, and they're gonna be protective of the sister. And the older brother tried to stop it, but then the wild one goes attack. So then the older brother just gets into, and the father, I think there's a point where he's really mad at them, but he's like, how the other guys look like, and they tell him, and it's really kind of comedic, but it kind of shows you like that's kind of what a family be like. We protect our own, like I think everyone feels that way. You feel protective of your family with your last name and everything from other people. You're like, don't harm my family, don't harm my brother, don't harm my sister, my mom or my dad. That's my family. You feel like hurt, and you feel like very like defensive about that. And so I think that shows, and it kind of goes with what I think The Godfather is about with the Corleone family. They're very protective of their own family. They can't mess with the sister. One of the brothers, if you mess with the brother, something's gonna happen. And even here they talk about, they use their last name a lot, the way a family would, like Soli, the Soli family, Soli stick together. And I don't know, it just reminded me a lot about The Godfather. It reminded me a little bit about Lion King, fathers and sons. It reminded me of Lion King. It reminded me of Star Wars, like the original one and the prequel trilogy, I believe. When I was watching the prequel when I was younger, because I remember how it had a story, but it would close. It didn't leave it like, like what we have with the Marvel movies and all that, or DC, where it's like a cliffhanger, a cameo, like, oh, the big bad guy is gonna come. It finished, but then it was, and that's how I felt when we came back, when the scene opens up in Pandora. I was like, oh wow, we're back into this world. This is what happened in the first one, and now we're back for another story, same characters, but let's see where it's gonna go now. So something about it just reminded me of like kind of like the way blockbusters like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings do it. Something about it was like right, felt right. It didn't feel like these where we need a cameo, all these little things, or nostalgia and all that. It just felt like original, like back then. The other one, it reminded me of, I don't know what, it reminded me of X-Men because of a Spider's character, the one that I told you that's like the human. And I told you that it feels like he might turn into the bad guy, or like his dad's sidekick. It might like do something like that, where I was like, oh, we kind of feel for him, but there's probably going to be a reason why he'll go against them at after. So it kind of reminded me a little bit about that. Even like when we saw X-Men X2, we saw the ending where Jean kind of dies, and we saw that as an audience together. And the movie finishes, and we had to wait like years for the third one to come out. And the movie just kind of said that kind of she died. And that was it. It finished, but then we came back to that world a few years later, and there was a new story, but she was there. The other thing, yeah, I related Spider to I kind of connected him to Pyro, I think was his name. I remember when Pyro was kind of like with the X-Men, and then like towards the end of the movie, he ends up like just going with the bad guys. So it reminded me a lot about that. So that's why I connected it to The Godfather, Lion King, Star Wars, and X-Men. And I really love this film because it's a big blockbuster film. I think this is what's been missing. This whole year has been great with blockbusters. It makes me so emotional thinking about it. I went to the theater a lot this year. I was so happy that I was able to like just go to the theater. I wasn't like waiting like months for another one. I was like there every month for something exciting. The nominees that are out there for like awards right now, they all deserve it. I think at the Academy, there's probably going to be like a big competition, but to be honest, I don't even think I'm going to care who wins, because all of those ones should win. I think 2022 was a great year for cinema. It was a great year for the movie going experience. I had a good time, and I think that's what's missing is these directors, these writers, these storytellers that actually care about what they're doing, that actually think about the audience. They're not there just to freaking get money out, to grab money right away. I don't think it's anything like that. These guys, you can tell these guys care. These guys care about the movie theater going experience. They care about me as someone that loves film and loves the movie theater. They care about me. They're not just trying to like take my money and just be like, there you go. That's it. Go give me your money. We got all this stuff. Just give me your money and we're going to throw that out there. These guys actually care about it. I'm so proud of like James Cameron. I'm proud of like Matt Reeves. I'm proud of the Daniels. I'm proud of freaking Tom Cruise. I'm proud of there are many other people out there that I'm sure I haven't named, many that you guys probably know that I don't know. There's still some films from this year that I heard are great that I haven't even seen yet, but it makes me happy. I just, sometimes we all don't have time to watch every single one of them. But I think 2022 was a great year for cinema. I think Avatar is a great blockbuster. We had a lot of great blockbusters, and and the ending of this film was so emotional. Like just that, like towards the last part, like when something's happening with the family, and just like from there on, it's so like freaking emotional. Like I was like, wow, this is why I go to the theater, to feel this emotion that it brings to me. This is what's been missing for years, and that's what I loved about Avatar: The Way of Water. So, guys, if you guys want to go see Avatar: The Way of Water, I would say go watch it in IMAX 3D. I think it's the only way to see it, because I don't think James Cameron did this to be in a standard. I don't think you'll get the feeling, you won't be able to appreciate what it is if you don't watch it in IMAX 3D. But that's up to you. I can't tell you what to do. You make your own decision. I'm just recommending that. I think that's the way it should be seen, because that's the way it looks beautiful. Like me, when I saw it, I was like, I don't think I could watch this movie again in standard. If I'm gonna watch it again, I have to do it in IMAX 3D. That's what I have to do. Um, so that's what I'm telling you guys. Right now, it's doing a little bit poorly at the box office. I'm hoping by Monday it makes a lot, because I've been seeing already that, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad that James Cameron, all these big time directors, they used to like be like freaking big blockbuster movies that would freaking be on the top number one, number two of all time box office, and now it's not working the way it used to. But I'm just glad that all these movies this year brought people back. I might do a little piece on it later, another video appreciating it. But so far, that's just like my review on Avatar: The Way of Water. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. And as always, thank you for watching.